Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today I want to talk about Lightspeed bundles, free to play, and how we're all complicit in this as well. So let's jump into it. This Lightspeed bundle was not a good bundle. Like it was not good. I had to think about it honestly. I was like, am I really gonna buy this garbage Jedi? And you know what? I thought hard about what my roster was like. Do I have what it takes to perform in this raid? And I looked hard. I looked deep in myself, and I was like, Captain Amazing, your roster sucks. Like you don't, you don't have what it takes to score well in this raid. And I didn't want to be one of those guys that just didn't put anything on the board. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to be useful. I don't know if it's going to get me like a 100,000 participation, but I'm going to buy this bundle because the likelihood that I can't perform in this raid is very, very high because I don't have Gungans, I don't have the Quadmate team. I really didn't have much. I don't have Kelleran back. I don't have a lot of these things. I don't even have Sidious because I don't have C. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And a lot of players probably had that same predicament where they're like, if you don't buy Lightspeed bundles or you're free to play, you're like, what am I going to do? Am I going to whale on these? Am I going to buy them? Am I not? Is my guild going to be okay with it? So a lot of people didn't buy this Lightspeed bundle. And this Lightspeed bundle will get you about 1.2 million participation. And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And then also for the separatist droids. So if you didn't buy the Padme bundle or you only bought the gas bundle, then if you bought gas, they'd be at R3, and then that's even less participation. If you bought Padme, they're at R5, and even B2 without a Zeta. This is getting me decent participation. I can max out at the 900,000. I don't have, like I said, I don't have Sidious, so I don't have the R7 for this. But my point here is I purchased my raid participation 100%. 2 million raid participation I bought with $45 is essentially what I had to spend to get this participation for Luminara and the BT battle droid, because I felt like I had to not the Padme one. I bought that because I just buy Lightspeed bundles, but this one was specific $20. But the I bought these as well, and altogether $45 is what I spent to get good participation in this raid. Darth Maul, I have Leviathan, so that's why I have R7 Darth Maul. So if you have a lower gear one or Maul or something, I don't know. Maybe you haven't built up, maybe you don't. Maybe you can fit Sidious in here, but Darth Maul is actually really good in this raid. So what my point is, I purchased these bundles. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't. And they're posting on Reddit saying like their guild kicked them out of this raid, that they're not able to get good participation, that their guild is restructuring. They're just not having a good time, and guilds are breaking up because of this. And this happens a lot of the times. New raids, new like row or new things like guilds break up, and new ones get built up because people don't want to carry others. But I think this is a very clear distinction of where CG decided that, hey, we have Lightspeed bundles, and how sustainable is creating Lightspeed bundles for GLs? It's not very sustainable. There's only a certain amount of them. People get upset when they are released, and releasing them too fast is not a good idea. But CG has to continue making money every quarter. They have to produce results. They have to produce profits for their shareholders. So what are they going to do? What they're going to do is they're going to create raids, and it's about what, like 7.5 months that they've been doing it. What they're going to do is they're going to create these raids, and they're going to sell us absolute garbage, like the worst of the worst. And what they're going to do is they're going to make things like this leadership where healers are excellent leaders, and then the mechanics of the raid to elevate these really crappy characters so that we can when we buy them, they're worth the money that we spend, because they're able to actually give us a return of investment on the raid. And now a lot of people are saying like, well, I didn't buy the bundle because it was crap, but now if it gets re-released, I'll buy it. But they're not re-releasing it. Why are they not going to re-release it? Because it's not about that short-term gains. It's about that long-term. If they re-release the bundle right now, what CG is saying is we're going to release a Lightspeed bundle. We're going to give you the content. And then if they perform, then we'll re-release it so you can buy it. And that's not what they want. What they want is for you to decide that you're going to buy these raid characters no matter what, because what if they're really good? And you're going to remember it because of moments like now where guilds are pressuring their guildmates of like, hey, you need to get more participation. And this raid is very, very rough. There's people out there getting like 0 participation. There's guilds out there that can't even hit that first box. My guild rewards were cut in half from what the speeder bike raid was, and we weren't even that like mega competitive with it. But it's still like we're all hurting from this raid because it's very inflexible. The teams are not flexible. Like even if you have good teams, if you have all high relics, unless you have specific key members like Luminara, Darth Maul, B2 lead, like Caloran Beck, like a lot of these things that people just don't have right now, unless you, or Gungans or Quadme, unless you weld, and those aren't even like farmable. Like unless you weld out on Jar Jar, you don't have Jar Jar, and unless you weld out on Master Qui-Gon, you don't have the Master, or you don't have the Quadme team. So right now, this raid is very inflexible unless it's did you whale? Did you literally spend hundreds of or thousands of dollars on these characters? Yes, okay, you get good participation. Did you buy the Lightspeed bundles? Yes, then you have somewhat okay participation. And what CG is doing is they're creating this cycle where we have to spend either, if you want to do really good and be at the top, you have to spend hundreds or thousands to maintain it, or you have to spend, even at any level, you'll have to spend like $50 just to hit bare minimum participation, because 2 million will get you like decent participation in Mark III. So what they're doing is they're creating this cycle where they're pressuring us, where we have to participate, where we have to spend money, and it's breaking the free to play. And we are complicit in it because guilds are breaking up. Like we're pressuring our guild mates. People are looking and they're like, hey, this isn't enough. And honestly, I had to take a step back and look at what my thought process was, because I looked at some of my guildmates and I was like, how are these guys hitting, not right now, of course, but like in the past, I was like, how are they hitting like 60,000, 300,000 participation? This is like some BS. These guys need to like step up. And I really thought about it, and I was like, okay, well, if you didn't whale on these latest characters, what do you have to show for it? Or if you didn't buy the Lightspeed bundle, so if you literally didn't spend this money, then you don't have good participation. And I had to take a step back and be like, okay, I'm being unreasonable. I have an unreasonable expectation of where our guild should be here, because if you look at these specific teams, maybe just the B2 team, or the Maul, Sidious, New, if you had all the GLs, then you would have a strong team right there. Or if you for some reason farmed all these Jedis because you like the Jedi faction, then maybe you would have something. Or if you had like Bo-Katan and Kelleran Beck and all the other Jedi, maybe you'll have something usable there for if you have like a very large account. But the vast majority of it, even these, like I have a 9.3 million GP account. I have a lot of things in my account, but I still, if I didn't buy these bundles, I would not be in a good position for this raid. And a lot of people are like that. So why we are complicit in this is that we're pressuring others with unreasonable expectations of, if they didn't spend money, or if they haven't been playing this game for forever, or farm these very specific farming pathways, because even the Caloran Beck is pretty new. Kiade Mundi is very unapproachable right now. Like all these things are just like, whale food essentially that they have, and unless you're like at that tip and you're spending tons of money, or even if you're just like only buying Lightspeed bundles, like that's a unrealistic expectations for every single players. And I remember looking on Reddit and seeing some guy who was like, yeah, I was 1 million GP, I do all my active everything I do, and I got kicked because my guild decided that it's not worth keeping us anymore unless we can do the raid participation, where before, like they could provide at least some in the speeder bike raid. And a lot of guilds, if you are farming these new things and you're not, your guild isn't, then I could see where it'd be very frustrating, where you're like, okay, well, I'm spending money to get these rewards and I'm not getting the rewards, so I have to leave because otherwise I'm wasting my money. And it's unfortunate that that's where the game is right now. And I do want to say that I'm not, this isn't an attack on CG. This isn't an attack on the player base. I just want to bring this up because players need to not, I would say the more that we buy in and succumb to these types of pressure spending, the more that they're going to create it, and the worse that cycle is going to get for them, creating this funding cycle that is unrealistic expectations of how we play this game, and it makes it not sustainable in the long term. Because the reason why I continue to play this game and I love it is not only because it's Star Wars, but because everything is attainable free to play. But if raid income is no longer sustainable at a free to play rate because they're hyper fixing the teams into avenues where you pretty much have to spend some amount of money or a good amount of money to have decent participation, then I think the game could be put in a difficult place where people just step away from it because of what they're doing here. And that's not even to say all the other problems that we have with it, with bugs and how long it takes and how unrealistic the timeline expected is to be. That's not what the point of this video is. It's just to say, if your guild is not performing that the way they should, give it some time, give it a month or two, see what they're doing, have some empathy towards others, and maybe try to convince your guild of like, hey, let's work in this together, let's build these things up in a realistic expectation that is not pressuring other people to spend. Because even if you like passively like, hey, what's up with all these slackers with a few 100,000 participation, why aren't you guys able to participate? And then those guys were like, hey, sorry, I didn't buy the bundles, I don't have the money, I'm a free to play player, and then you may pressure them next time to spend money that they don't have, that they can't sustain for this mobile game. So just something to think about. Let's not be complicit in this. Let's have some empathy. Let's work together. Let's build some communities here and have an understanding that this is a byproduct of how this raid is structured, and hopefully in the future this isn't a long-term plan of CG of like how to milk players, because this currency is way too valuable for them to be rug pulling us and then selling us the solution every 7 months. So yeah, if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.